Here we are back breaking down the basics, episode 24, talking about the long form of safeguards, but administrative safeguards. All right. So, example we're going to show you kind of the whole time is just a filled out example form of what we think a good quality safeguard would look like for this. And it's a checklist form. You can see it's been checked. And number one, we're talking about 4 I's principle, right? So you can see at the bottom, there's 2 places to sign this document. It's been signed both by a person who's performing it and a supervisor. It's been dated. And so it's an assessment basically saying, hey, I took a look at this. The second guy saying I took a look at this, and we verified that this was done correctly. So I know sometimes we have a tendency, to just say, well, I checked the boxes. Yeah, you're a competent worker. That's fine. I'm going to sign it. And that's fine. Just know that if you're doing that, you're taking the ability to say, I am certifying that this was done right if there was an issue. Okay, so second item here with these is, are you going to audit it? So you can see this is a checklist form that we're doing, right? So sometimes when we write checklists and sometimes we write procedures, the steps are not crystal clear on what we need to do. So we want to make sure that we audit it periodically so that we can make sure the person's doing it right. It's not that we think somebody's, not doing it correctly on purpose, but it's just to make sure we're getting the outage of it what we want, make sure we're getting kind of the same notes that we want, all that stuff, right? And make sure that they're inspecting or looking at whatever the system is correctly. Lastly, with administrative is documentation. So this document we've been showing you, keep them all, right? You can see at the top here, there's a date on when this was completed. And kind of what quarter this was. Maybe it's a quarterly review that's done. And we want to make sure we keep the review done every quarter for every year for the life of the plant. That way, if there's any deficiencies or anything changes, we can kind of see sort of the reliability or the systems of this process and how well it's working. We can correlate that to if we then have an event later. Maybe this is an inspect sheet. Maybe you're doing an inspection sheet or whatever for a piece of equipment, so you can see what's the reliability of that equipment. As always, long form content, more of them can be found on YouTube and on our website. Bayer Process Safety, keeping you safe.